I am back in my 2-bedroom apartment, ready to solve the mystery of what happened to the Roottree children. If you missed the last episode, please go watch it. We're solving a mystery. And I'm learning to read in the process, which is very exciting. I took it upon myself to just kind of like recap what I did in the last episode with myself and figure out if I missed anything, if there's anything I want to kind of re-go over. Keep in mind that I'm backlogging a lot of these episodes, so I really did not read any of your comments because they're going to occur about a week in the future for me. I jotted down a couple things. I also kind of reworked our board here. I've added a to-do section, which I think is important. This allows me to just jot down things quickly that I want to be able to put in. So I brought in some stuff that I want to take a look at. I've also renamed some of our tabs. So instead of being, I think this just said women, I call it the Roottree women, because these are all names we really should be doing research on to see. We also have the Roottree men. The fact that there is an Elias Jr. tells me that that's probably going to be the oldest child, maybe. You probably wouldn't have one son and then another son you name after you. That seems just a little peculiar to me, but who knows? I mean, they were in the 80s. They're weird. I don't know. Let's take a look at the to-do. So, Jim Roottree, James over here. We've got most of him locked in at this point, and I'm like damn near 100% confident that this is where he should be. I'm a little confused how things get locked in. It's every time you get 3 blood relatives completely correct, then they get locked in. So we had gotten locked in basically Miracle Jr. and then these two. But I think that we'll have Jim locked in when we get another 2 people fully. We also know everything about Carl, but we don't have his picture, and that's a really tough one. And we also know that they have a kid who is Wolf, but we don't know whether he's the youngest or the oldest, so we can't really do much there. One thing we can do is that Roottree Miracle the third Roottree. He is, let's pull up the evidence that we have. He's the guy in here. We have his picture right here, right? And we know his wife is Nicole, which we have documented on our board. We have not documented that. We know that you're a Nicole, but we don't know which Nicole. Nicole Madson or Nicole Smith. Maybe let's do a quick, I think we did this last time. So Nicole Madson and Nicole Smith. Yeah, we don't know which is which, and that's fine. But we know that you are married to a one of those. Let's grab your photo, okay? So if we come back in our evidence and we grab this, and I do a little clicky click right there, I'm gonna grab you real quick. Let's get you on the board. That should lock in a full nother person here as well, which theoretically means that I'm one full person away from getting that figured out. That's my hope, right? So Jim, let's go back to Jim, because we went down this path in the last episode, and I wanted to explore it a little bit. Oh, I did not realize this. I mean, this goes crazy. Is actually just a remake of Earth, Wind, and Fire's September, but okay. We'll let that play in the background. This is what I wanted to take a look at. I'm sorry, I need him to not talk. Spark of light that ever brightly shone. I mean, I'll let him sing it. So that's where it leaves off, right? In my heart, I'll always be the son of. It has to rhyme with alone. We have shown, unknown, alone. There is only one, and I checked. There is only one name in the list of names that can rhyme with alone, and that is Joan. So I think with certain confidence, Joan Monroe would be the mother of James. And I'm kind of just gonna send that. There's no other possible scenario. Now the problem is that we don't really know. We don't really know whether who was. I mean, if it's Joan Monroe, she wasn't married into the family if she's a Roottree, right? But we also know somebody took their wife's name, I think. I think you have to be Joan Monroe. So we're gonna put you in. So that's one thing that I wanted to take a look at. Another thing, if we take a look at our to-dos, I think we can maybe deduce something with Gwyn. The problem with Gwyn is that she's weird, right? There's not a lot on her, despite her being a notable person. But we can maybe figure out. The thing is that there's notable people all along this age. Like, we have one here and we have one here, and we don't know which is which. We do know that her husband died. She was a widow, right? Is that Gwyn or is that Lauren? Hold on. Lauren's the one whose husband died. Gwyn is the granddaughter of Elias. Okay, hold on. So granddaughter of Elias means that Gwyn is either this one or this one. What else do we know about Gwyn, man? I need to... Gwyn Roottree? Well-known actress, minor movie. She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name. Okay. So she is not a Roottree. Okay. That's good. That, I think. Is that good? I don't know. Maybe that's okay. If Gwyn is a granddaughter, but it shouldn't be a Roottree. Why am I getting so shook by this? We know that Gwyn, because Gwyn was a notable person, right? Can I take a look at the notables? Gwyn is a notable person. So we know that it has to be this or this. But in that case, well, that just means that one of these two is a woman, right? Because then they would have taken the famous name instead, the spouse. So that does make sense. We don't know how many siblings she had, though. We don't really know much about her, actually. We can take a look at some of these movies, perhaps. Guys Like Us, 1953 film starring Gwyn Roottree, Leslie Florence, and Harrison Lane. The title is a play on words, as it can be read that the two women are men similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them. I'm not sure we gain any information from this. How about the Christmas Mission? On a page called Flops. Had a role as a soldier's wife. Movie was marketed as an incredible true story, but no record of the events happening has ever been found. I mean, this is following Lauren's story, though, which is interesting. So perhaps that's something that we could explore down. But I mean, we don't know much else. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Hey, It's almost like I should frickin' read sometime. So this is where she split up. So we know that you have to be Gwyn at this point. So that's Gwyn Roottree. And we know what your job was because we just looked at it. Okay. We know. You're a well-known actress. So you are a actress or actor. These are not gendered in any way. So you are an actor. Okay. We don't know your photo quite yet, but we know you exist. We don't know much else about you. So that's good. We got a little bit more on Gwyn here. The 5 pieces original flavors. I want to take a look at this again because that goes into the evidence intuition, right? We took a look, like the notable Roottrees has 27 things we can glean from it, which is crazy. But the 5 pieces add 11 things I can glean from this. And that's what I'm curious about, right? So cool chocolate, bad blue. Okay, first of all, putting chocolate candies in with other non-chocolate candies is completely psychotic, but we'll go past that for a second. There's 5 flavors because the original inventor had 5 kids. Maybe that's why kids still love them. Obviously, we know the 5 kids are based off of the 5 flavors. Radical new flavors because it's no longer the 1920s. What even is an elderberry anyway? Okay. This is really important, actually. So the flavors were different before, which means, and one of them was an elderberry. Let's mess around. What do we know about 5 pieces, man? Iconic candy sold, although they're no longer the company's only popular product, they still sell well. Colorful shell-coated maple candies. They have 5 flavors, the shape has remained consistent. Also a history, blah, 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 blah. Okay, 5 pieces elderberry. Sorry, 5 pieces elderberry. 5 pieces elder. 5 pieces original flavors. 5 pieces original flavors. I'm gonna scream. Okay. Elderberry. Maybe let's search some of the flavors, right? Like power plum. Okay. Cool chocolate. Really? I mean, like nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. Bad blue raspberry. How about bad blue? Okay. We're missing something to do more with that, and that's okay. Current 5 flavors are not the same as back then. How about the magazine Teen Blast? Wait a minute, Teen Blast. It's a damn magazine, man. Search the periodicals for Teen Blast, okay? Except search Teen Blast for 5 pieces. There we go. New periodical added, Teen Blast. Okay. Played host to many Roottree advertisements over the years. How about... I mean, I don't know what else to even search in this. What about original flavors? Bad blue raspberry? What about an elderberry? Okay, you hate me. That's fine. We do have... Yeah, I have all my search history. I mean, I don't know what to search in it. We know it's there, right? We know it's there. We can always look at it more in the future. Are there any other periodicals in here that we can get going with this? It's a flyer. It's not really anything else. We still got you, who we think is Jim's daughter. So Candy Roottree would be Jim's daughter, which means that also basically Candy and Wolf are both We could put it in. I guess we don't have proof of that. But that would make Candy the oldest. So you're Candy Roottree, and you're a musician, right? Okay, well done. Because then Wolf is the other one, right? Who got locked? We've locked Jim, we've locked Candy, we've locked Miracle the Third. That makes a lot of sense. And Joan and Diamond LaRoe. Brilliant. Okay. Confirming Joan is also sick. And then you're back. Hello.
You're on a roll.
Thanks.
I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes.
Weird.
But I unearthed a photo
New
from
evidence.
1970s Roottree reunion.
Okay.
I also found some
dude.
looking papers.
Oh my lord, this is amazing. Okay. Literally, you're coming with the heat. You gave me 4 giant things.
Relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Yes, ma'am. I can do that. Okay, we got new evidence to look at, but before we do that, take me back to my board for a second, because I think that we can also confirm that this is Wolf Roottree. And I mean, you're just a kid, man. you don't have a job. You're a child. You're a student. I'm gonna say K through 12. I don't necessarily like nothing gives me the vibe that you're older than 18 or so, right? So let's keep that kind of chilling. What else did I have on my notes first? Miracle Rootree's actual job. That's definitely something to think about. He hasn't been locked. He was not a preacher, man. And I think that that's important for us to unpack, is we have his job wrong. And I'm not necessarily sure what his job is. So let's do a quick Miracle Roottree search. Miracle Network production company run by the Miracle Roottree estate. Arrived late in his life, power of God, triumphed over these complications, regained his sight to spread the healing word. Since left the life of glamour and... Sorry, hold on. I'm skimming and I need to learn how to read. 23 years later, Miracle Roottree Jr. arrived, became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburned himself from the Roottree name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Power of television spread the gospel. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that need it most. Miracle Roottree, because I cannot read. Final child of his generation, nearly torn apart. Triumphed over these complications. I mean, it could be that he... I mean, a production company run by the Miracle Roottree estate. How about can we learn more about this? Miracle Network, Miracle Roottree estate, potentially? No, you don't like that. I mean, is there a chance that he's just, you know, a business owner, right? Every time you get 3, it locks in. We also don't have his thing, right? I mean, you could be your own CEO. We don't have anything about you. Let's skip you. Let's come back to you. Let's take a look at some new stuff. So, buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox, had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. Flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least. I'm not going to comment on that. But in her words, it was still full of love, and now 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simple. Love is our future. Handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. CM. Which is not Stephanie Jones. So who the frick is CM? I need my, I mean, can we look at this in more detail? She's so 90s, brother. She's so 90s, it hurts. Okay, CM, bring me back to my list of names. CM. Could be Caroline Morden. Let's give a quick search. Nothing on Caroline Morden. Okay. CM. CM. How about... It can really only be you, okay? It can really only be Carolyn Morden. And we don't know much about you. So let's start a new thing here. This is gonna be politics. And let's grab our evidence, which is okay, this is a lot to unpack. This is a ton to unpack. Grab all three of these suckers. I'll get back to the politics in a second. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damaged picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo is, couldn't make the reunion, wishing you well from Paris, Gwyn and the boys. And that says film school. Okay. Good. We know that Gwyn... We know your mom is Joan. That makes sense. We know that this is Gwyn. That makes you Gwyn. I would say you're going to be locked in the future. And I think that also Wolf is going to be locked in. I think if I get one more person, you're locking them all in. Now, you had two kids who were the boys. I don't really know what the frick this means. But that's fine. That's fine. Who are you? Okay, Debbie, I gotta come back to you. And this is, I mean, this is a mess right here, for sure. We'll get back to you as well. Wolf listening to his parents' latest music. That bro, he's gotta be like 11. I'm not worried about him. Let's get back to Stephanie. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least. I would like to highlight this, add this to the politics, and then I'd like to add this to the politics, and I'd like to add a note. CM can only be Carolyn, and I don't remember her last name. So that's on me. Evidence, list of names. Carolyn Morden. Carolyn Morden. Save note. Okay, more evidence to look at. I'm very interested in this. Photo tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anybody else on Earth, knew how busy your job can be. So Ernie was probably one of the owners. I've enclosed a Shiva candle, identical to ours if you'd like to pay our respects, though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. Very exciting. Okay, we know who the fourth president of the Roottree Candy Company is. As for myself, it is impossible to express the gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. Who the frick are these two, though? I mean, that's gotta be Debbie, and that's gotta be Nicole, right? Almost certainly. So, Ernie, Debbie, and Nicole. I need my list of names again. So, Deborah Bean seems logical for you to be the Debbie in question. So Deborah Bean, and then probably Ernest. Oh, brother, why the hell are you a Madson, though? Unless you took... There's people taking names around here. I need... How about just Ernest Madson? How about, just out of curiosity, Ernest Roottree? Okay. Ernest Roottree Jr. Yeah, I figured not much. Deborah Bean. This is a tough one. Debbie Bean, and we know that one of the Nicoles belongs to you two. I have no freaking clue where they fit on the family tree. If Carl's the 5th president, that means the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd are all in these 2 rows, which is... I mean, that's not necessarily true. Okay, I'm gonna choose to not really think too much about Ernest for right now. But I am gonna jot some notes down. So, my boy Ernie. I'm mainly going to copy and paste a lot of the stuff into this. So the Shiva candle. Ernie was a man full of love for his family and how Carl took over. Up until the end, we were fighting for Nicole's sake. Much love, Debbie. Okay, tricky. Tricky? I'm not sure what to do with that yet. Now, this is an insanely important one. Okay? This photo is a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s. Carl's the teenager in the middle. Sorry about the water damage, a pipe burst. On the back of the photo in childish print writing, it says November. Large number of cursive signatures. Bonnie, next president Guy Hudson. Sure. Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth, Gwendoline, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli. Holy frick. Okay. This is a gosh darn mess. So this is Carl, teenager in the middle. And I think if I put his ass on the board right now, we lock 3. And I'm all in. Okay? Let's lock the 3 because this should now be Wolf, Carl, and Gwyn. I feel good about that. Okay? I feel good about that. We also now have we've got this is Miracle. This is Eli because he's got a damn sticker on his shirt. This is probably Jim. He's got the mustache, right? Although you got the mustache. Yeah, you also got the mustache. Okay. I gotta look at some other photos, but let's get that. That's gotta be Miracle Jr. Because he looks like an idiot. Just like this guy. It's the same damn guy, honestly. The exact same damn guy. So that's definitely him. There's no doubt in my mind that's his ass. Okay. Who the hell's Eli? Eli M. Eli M. There is definitely another family we're dealing with here. And it's the damn Madsons. Gwyneth, Nicole. Okay. Hold on. If it's Nicole Madson, Deborah Bean, and Ernie Madson, that means that Miracle the Third married Nicole Smith. Because otherwise there would be another weird connection going on between Nicole Madson and Miracle the Third. So you married Nicole Smith. Nicole Madson is Ernie's daughter. That might be Ernie Jr. though. That part's still a little foggy. It's a little foggy to me. There's a lot going on here. So we know that you're Eli, but I'm not really jumping to take the pictures of these people yet. I do think that, like, this... Who the hell is Clark? Next president, Guy Hudson. Which one of you is James? Let's figure that out. So Jim, you've kind of got brown hair. You're running like a 5 o'clock shadow. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not really. It's probably you. I need to learn more about Eli. Who is Eli, man? We need to learn about Eli. Eli is probably Elias Jr., but there's like a million Eliases. We know it's not this Elias. It's just why does bro look like he's the janitor, man? And he's like super young. He's not that much older than Carl at this point. Damn it. And then Brenda White is Carl's. So Brenda's not in this photo. Because this is long before he got married. That makes a lot of sense to me. So we know that one of the women is Bonnie. One is Caroline, one is Gwyneth, and one is Gwendoline. These two are holding hands. So you also have another here. Who are you? Who the frick are you? I got no clue who you are, to be honest with you. Ain't got no clue. Okay. Let's search Guy Hudson. I'm curious. Fancy Flavors was an addition to the 5-piece product line for less than a year in 1979. It was Guy Hudson's first and historically most cited move as president of Roottree. In an attempt to cater more towards what he thought the average person wanted, Guy looked at his own wealth, which was often a source of envy for others, and decided to tap into the idea that if they added fancy flavors to 5 pieces, anyone could live like the wealthy. Philosophy led to a flavor in 5 pieces that was meant to mimic caviar. Okay. Guy, what were you thinking, brother? You were not cooking with that one. This feels like a complete waste of our time to look at this. Ernie Jr. So that's Ernie Madson. How do the Madsons come into play here, man? Where do the Madsons come into play? Guy Hudson. We also have Christopher Hudson. Okay. Interesting. Taking a look at the to-dos. I'm out of things to do. Let's make sure that let's just delete this, okay? And then we'll add a new to-do page. So that I can do more with to-dos in the future. I think that we need to start kind of just ticking down people and just do some searches. Like, Elias Jr. has to get us somewhere. Because this has to be the son of Elias. Elias Jr. Elias Roottree Jr.'s name is listed on a website about historical buildings in Butler County, listed alongside an old residence that's been preserved. So you're telling me that this does not come up? Yeah. What about Butler County? Located outside of Pittsburgh, the Butler County Times. Okay. While the Roottree Candy Company now has its headquarters in the city, the company began on a small farm within the Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history with the family. Presumably a local paper there, Butler County Times. Likely articles over the years involving them, automatically added to my periodicals. Beautiful. As a side note, a video game called The Roottrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County, and it turns out the creator never lived in or near Butler County or even had any connection to it. Okay, very weirdly meta. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's start searching you then. So the Butler County Times, I need to know about the Roottrees, brother. Yeah, they flood the results. Give me Elias. Watchman of the Year. Watchman of the Year. Okay, yeah, that's fair. How about Elias Jr.? Nothing relevant. Take me back to the spider search for a second. I kind of want to take a look at Hunched Top House. Okay? So periodicals, Butler County Times, Hunched Top House. Small feature details a building that Elias Roottree Jr.'s architecture firm mentioned Elias Jr. was Elias's oldest son. But we don't know whether it's his oldest kid. I mean, this is an obvious logical conclusion, which is the tough part. Okay. What else can I search in the Butler County? Like Elias Roottree Jr. We already just searched you in here. Yeah. And we searched, how about candy? How about the 5 pieces? Caviar. Flavors. Okay. You're making me a little sad. So taking a look at this. We know that the oldest son. The problem is they could have had like 3 frickin' daughters. We have no way of knowing. Besides obviously finding it, which would be nice to figure out. So Guy Hudson was one of the presidents. We should probably jot this down. Okay, so let's get the presidents. We know that first president is Elias Roottree. Second president ain't got no frickin' clue. Third president ain't got no frickin' clue. Fourth president is Guy. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Because Ernie was before Carl, right? So that means third president had to be Guy Hudson. Fourth president is Ernie Jr. ? Roottree. And then fifth president is Carl. Nepo baby himself. Guy Hudson. Give me just another search on Guy Hudson for a second. We don't know much more about him, to be honest with you. We just know about the fancy flavors. What was the evidence we had for Guy Hudson? This is Gwyn and the boys. Picture of the free spirits. What's the free spirits? Are you anything? It's gotta be important, man. It's gotta be important. Couldn't make it to the reunion. And one of the boys is in film school, which is fine, okay? It does not really help me all that much. We know a lot of people, we just don't know what to do with them right now, which is it's a tough situation to be in. We also still have old Stephanie Jones and CM, who does not see eye to eye with Carl. How about let's do some searches on Stephanie Jones. Be sure to read the full article in the Butler County Times. Okay, Butler County Times. Stephanie Jones, was that her name? Small report detailing the election results. Okay, now we're cooking. Fine, she won the election. Congratulations to her. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon, until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her whole life, which is where the Roottree Candy Company is. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father. With my mother and her partner, I essentially had an entirely female influence. Okay. We got the gay couple. Let's figure out. The problem is the board is not gendered. So, but if they're not necessarily, it does seem that there's married fully across the board here. So it's not, the wording is at least like it's they're still married. It's not just like a domestic partnership. We could have tried to figure something out there. Though she is a distant cousin of the Roottrees, her mother Caroline, a local artist who has appeared on the front page of the Butler County Times in the past, has often come out opposed to the corporation's policies. Okay. This is some amazing news, man. So Caroline is the one who's sending this. Caroline Madson. Morden. It can only be, Caroline Morden. Which is perfect, because that's Stephanie's mother. Right? Yes. And Stephanie's 22. So I'm going to tell you, Stephanie is probably the same age as the Roottree people, daughters. And it's a distant cousin, guardian, adoption, or otherwise. Okay. This is all really good information. Give me a page on Stephanie. Well, this is all in the politics. Let's bring back the politics. So, Stephanie's mother is Caroline Morden. But we also know Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon, grew up without a mother, or without a father. I would like to search more about Carolyn Morden in the Butler County Times. Cover story about local art installations. Isn't much about Caroline as a person, but this is mostly a listing of art. She seems to get top billing. Accompanying her is a metal sculpture of a mermaid. Atlantis' Burden. Just gonna give a quick search on that. Fair enough. Sculptures in her upcoming book, Self-Portrait, Art of the Beauty of Women. Okay, yeah, good point. According to a quote further down, Atlantis' burn is meant to symbolize a society split by indecision over whether women should be equals or something to protect. The picture of the front page has been added to your evidence. So this is going to get me a picture of Stephanie Morden, probably. You are Stephanie Morden, there's the weird mermaid. Fair enough. Okay. So Caroline's standing next to her sculpture for Butler County. That's good. I'm happy to see you, Caroline. Carolyn. I don't know how you pronounce your name. Problem is, I have no freaking clue what part of the family you come from. Like, not even a little bit. You are long and far away in my brain. So we've gone down this path, but it's a tricky path to go down. I'll take your picture anyway. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for today's episode of The Roottrees Are Dead. I'm still having a good time. We made some great progress today, to be honest with you, even though it doesn't feel like it because there's so many unknowns, but I just have to keep on searching and see what I can find. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.